Survival games usually follow a very predictable formula. You wake up on a beach, punch a tree, build a spear, and slowly work your way up until you conquer the environment. You start as prey and you end up as the apex predator. But Subnautica 2 doesn't let you conquer anything. From the exact same moment your ship goes down and hit a water on a planet, the game makes one thing absolutely clear. You do not belong here, and you never will. There's a specific biome you encounter early on that perfectly captures this feeling. The map simply designed it as the graveyard. When you first swim into it, the water gets murky, and then you see them, massive, rusted, structured, half burnt into the ocean sediment, wreckage, things that were clearly built by intelligent hands long before you crash landed. The game doesn't hold your hand. There's no glowing audio log explaining what happened to some of those people. No convenient UI pop-up feeding you the lore. You just quietly swim through the decaying ruins of whatever tried to survive here before you. Grab your copper ore and keep going. It is environmental storytelling at its best. It quietly tells you whatever killed them is still down here. We were supposed to be going to Zazura. That was the mission, but when the alarm started blurring and your ship was ripped out of the sky, you didn't land on Zazura. You crashed somewhere else. An uncharted, completely unnamed ocean world where the only direction that actually matters is down. It is currently early access state. The game has around 10 distinct biomes near the surface. In the place like the Shallows or the Anemone Hills, things feel almost manageable. The light penetrates the water, the fish are small, you can see the surface, but eventually you run out of resources, so you have to descant. You push past the plateau, you navigate to Tufa Towers, you drop into a lead zone, and eventually you find yourself hovering in the thermal spires, reading the depth gauge on your screen. It says 700 meters. For context, the absolute deepest scuba dive ever survived by a human on Earth was about 330 meters. Down here, at 700 meters, you are more than double the limit of human biology. The pressure alone is enough to crush a submarine. Number stops meaning anything useful to your brain. You can't see the surface. You can't see the sun. The water around you is so thick and dark that your flashlight beam just gets swallowed by the void. You aren't just exploring anymore. You are trespassing. And the worst part is, the deeper you go, the bigger the shadows become. Down in the darkness, you are completely at the bottom of the food chain. One of the most terrifying and, honestly, brilliant design choices in Subnautica 2 is absolutely refusal to give you a lethal weapon. And I don't mean you have to craft them later in the game. I mean there's literally zero weapons. Every single blueprint you fabricator is designed for collecting resources, utility, or just running away. Think about how fundamentally this shifts your psychology as the player. In almost every other game you can see a giant monster, your brain calculates, do I have enough ammo to kill it? In Subnautica, your brain calculates, did it see me, and where can I hide? By design, all the major creatures are completely unkillable. You are forced to exist in their ecosystem on their terms. If you run into a collector leviathan down in the sparse plains, or you accidentally aggro their hammerhead, you cannot fight back. You just survive. Your best defense is literally just pulling out of your seagate, mashing the forward button, and hoping you're fast enough to break into the line of sight. Sure, you have a few defense options. You have a sonic resonator that produces a sound pulse to deter things if they get too close. You can drop flares to distract predators, but that's the absolute limit of your interaction. Make noise, swim away, and pray it loses interest. You are not Doom Guy, you're not a Spartan, you're just a fragile human in a wetsuit, surrounded by things that view you as a snack. But honestly, the creatures aren't even the most unpredictable parts of Zazura, it's the water itself. The current system is something I really didn't expect, and it caught me completely off guard. In most games, water is just a visual effect, a blue filter on your screen that makes you move slower. But here, water is a physical force. It moves, and it will clearly move you. The other day I was exploring near the thermal spires, just grabbing resources, minding my own business, and a deep water current caught me. Because I was busy looking at my inventory, I wasn't paying attention to my surroundings. By the time I finally checked my deep gauge, the current had dragged me significantly deeper and further away than I had planned it to be. The lightning had completely changed, the water was thicker, and the shadow moving in the distance were much, much larger than anything I've seen near the surface. I panicked. I immediately turned around, aimed my Seaglade straight up, and just swam for my life. To this day, I still don't know what was actually down there waiting for me, and the fact that the ocean itself can literally drag you into the abyss while you aren't looking adds a layer of anxiety I have never experienced in a survival game. To cope with this overwhelming helplessness, you do the only thing humanly possible. You build. Base building in Subnautica 2 works exactly the way you expect. You gather titanium, fabricate components, and construct those beautiful, pressurable habitats. You put up lights, build a bed, set up some lockers. You even plant some local flora in a pot. For a brief moment, you can pretend you have control over your situation. Inside those titanium walls, it actually feels like a home. You are safe. You are warm. But this is a profound psychological disconnect happening right in front of you. You look out of the reinforced glass of your cozy, brightly lit room, and the crashing dark of the ocean is right there, staring back at you, completely unchanged. The leviathans are still swimming just out of sight. The pressure is still immense. Your base isn't conquering the ocean. It's just a tiny, fragile glass bubble sitting at the bottom of an alien world that doesn't care if you exist. And exploring that world is getting more dangerous. Largely due to something spreading through the water, something called the Blight. The Blight is an infection slowly spreading through certain areas of the planet, and it fundamentally changed how the game feels. When you are entering a blighted area, you don't need a prompt to tell you you're in danger. You can feel it in your gut. The colors are off. The lighting feels completely wrong, almost slicky. The local fauna, creatures that used to be passive, suddenly become highly aggressive and erratic. Since the Subnautica 2 is still in early access, we don't fully know what the Blight is yet. The lore is still being built, but even just experiencing the edge of it is making you change your playstyle. When you are in a normal biome, you explore, you admire the alien flora. When you swim into a lighted area, you stop exploring, you move carefully, you grab exactly the resources you came for, and you get the hell out. It turns a game of exploration into a game pure survival horror. I've been playing Subnautica 2 for a couple of weeks now, and there's this weird habit I've developed. Sometimes when I swim between biomes, I just stop. I take hands off the keyboard, I completely freeze in the water and just look straight down. The further down you go, the water stops being that familiar dark blue. It turns into something that doesn't really have a color name. It's just an absolute suffocating absence of light. And as you are floating there, staring into the void, waiting for your oxygen tank to run out, sometimes you hear a massive, distant echo from somewhere deep below. And sometimes you hear absolutely nothing at all. And honestly, I still haven't figured out which one is worst. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the dive into the psychology of Subnautica 2, let me know in the comments. Are you playing the early access? What the scariest thing you ever found in the deep? Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.